What is your name? Leba, the son of Benigo. Bomadi was a kingdom of proud people, filled with so much cultural diversity. The people of noble birth reside in houses on top of the hills, while the peasants, the lowly subjects of the land, make up the driving force in the marketplaces. It is upon their backs that the wealth of the kingdom is firmly built. In the village of Ngede, east of the kingdom, lived a humble farmer named Leba. Leba's wife Bini and their daughter Sabi were out in the field one sunny morning. Bini called out so lovingly to join her husband, seeing he had been working tirelessly on the farm. Sharing a moment of laughter together, they diligently weeded the farm, completely engrossed in their shared labor and their love for each other. Wait, be quiet, Leba said suddenly, as he felt the hoofs of horses racing from a distance. His suspicion was right. Just beyond his cassava field, a royal delegation rides hastily from the palace. These were a group of armed soldiers and court officials prepared to collect taxes in the name of the king and cut down anyone who gets in their way. Inside, quick, and take the child with you, Leba said to Bini. Bini quickly runs towards her daughter and sweeps little Sabi into her arms as they both run straight towards the house. Leba the farmer then stands up straight, with his head bowed low, to receive the king's men and soldiers as they approached. If only his heart will not feel so heavy, at least until this moment passes. For his utmost concern was not for himself, but for the safety of his dear wife and that of his innocent little daughter Sabi. The king's official, adorned in regal headbands and neck pieces with intricate work of gold and coral beads, moved steadily towards Leba. Following closely were the king's soldiers, riding with an air of authority that can never be challenged by a common foreman. Leba stood like a wall between the king's delegates and the entrance to his house, waiting to be addressed, for it was unbefitting for a commoner to open his mouth to speak unless he is first spoken to. The spokesman and scribe stepped forward, unfurling a scroll containing the king's decree. With authority, he proceeds to read the proclamation aloud, ensuring that all present can hear the royal directive. Now finding his voice, Leba graciously extends gratitude for their duties to the king and the empire, acknowledging the grandeur that the monarch has bestowed upon the land. However, his tone shifts as Leba begins to express concerns, detailing the challenges faced by the community. He laments about the meager harvest, the hardships inflicted by frequent visits from thieves and bandits who snatch away what little has been stored for impending dry season. Berizaya, the head tax official, maintains a stern demeanor as he sits atop his horse, gazing down at Leba. His face reveals no emotion as he surveys the farmer's fields and the weathered, patched-up old house in the vicinity. Inside the house, Sabi stayed quiet in her mother's embrace as she begs the little girl not to make a single sound. Much to her dismay, Fifi, Sabi's cat, emerges from the small crevice in the wall where he typically slips in and out of the house. In fear of being discovered, Bina stretches out her hands to grab hold of the cat. Fifi, come here, she whispers, briefly releasing her hold on Sabi. Seizing the opportunity to slip away from her mother's watchful eyes, Sabi hastily runs outside and grabs onto the hands of her father, positioning herself behind him with a gentle smile of reassurance, for she was determined to understand what the commotion was about. One could say that she inherited her stubbornness from her father. Struggling with a mix of anger at Sabi for not staying in the house and the fear of what could happen, Leba maintains his composure, letting out a deep sigh. He addresses Chief Bariza. Forgive me, my chief. Even our little one goes hungry. I have no produce befitting of my king and our kingdom. Bowing low to the ground, he continues, I will continue to hold my head in shame until the next harvest comes. Then my king will have his tribute. Chief Bariza, a man of few words, breaks the silence with a prolonged stare before pointing directly at Leba. He utters, your fields may have failed, yielding no produce. Put your house has been something worthy of the king, has it not? Signaling to one of the soldiers, he commands, take the girl. She will suffice. As the soldier advances toward Leba and moves to seize Sabi from his side, Leba, in a sudden burst of determination, lunges forward with remarkable speed. With a forceful headbutt, he catches the soldier off guard, sending him falling flat-faced onto the ground. For the farmer was no ordinary man. He stood as the village champion, earning the affection of his community and conquering numerous challenges as the strongest man in the village. Seeing her husband had done the unthinkable, Bini let out a loud cry from inside the house. She rushes out in a desperate attempt to shield her daughter and intervene in the unfolding situation. Without a moment's hesitation, Chief Bariza dismounts from his horse brandishing a spear, demonstrating a level of skill matched by only a select few in the kingdom. He executes a swift, expert swing, cleanly severing the arm of the farmer. Sabi stood in disbelief. What began as a beautiful day now unfolded into a tragic scene, her cherished rag doll still laying in the dust, stained with her father's blood. With eyes wide open, she gazed at Chief Bariza. What is your name? The chief asked. Leba, the son of Benigo, the farmer said as he held what was left of his arm in pain. Leba, son of Banigo, I will not take your head today. Bariza continues. In the fortnight, on the same day in the yam harvest, I will return to collect the produce of this land on behalf of the king. For this reason, I will let you keep your other arm and your wife. So, go farm the land just as you have said. Long live the king. As the events unfold, the scribe diligently records every single detail, ensuring that not a word spoken goes unrecorded, because the account must be reported back to the king with accuracy. And so, in regale fashion, Chibariza mounts his horse and calls out, take the girl. This time, two soldiers step forward to take Sabi away. Lifting her onto the cart like harvesters loading bags of cocoyam, Sabi becomes the king's property, a produce from the land. Leba's wife Bini wept inconsolably for her beloved daughter, her beautiful Sabi. May she go in your care, the farmer cried in his heart as he gazed in anguish towards the heavens. Chief Barisa sighed with indifference. Having had enough of the village of Ngede for one day, he thought to himself, if this is an indication of the people of Ngede, then I'd rather enjoy my day with a jug of palm wine in one hand and my beautiful concubine on the other. Besides, the village reeks of cow excrement and pig's manure. Looking at Sabi, Chief Barizea felt pity for her, understanding the temperament of his king, aware that any village failing to pay its share could face devastation by the king's order. Bariza chooses to spare the villagers and opts to take the child instead. But how will a dirt poor village child cope with living in the palace? He thought to himself, yet Sabi was remarkably beautiful. Her radiance was concealed beneath the dirt from her father's fields and the soot from her mother's firewood stove. Let's head back, Bariza called out, signaling the end of the unsettling visit to the village of Ngede. The farmer's neighbors who had witnessed the whole thing through their window came running out after the soldiers had all left. The women cried with Bini and comforted her, while the men quickly tended to Leba's wounds.